What's up, gamers? How you doing? It's John. In this video, I'll be reviewing the new Evercade EXP handheld. Came out end of last year, 2022, during the holiday season. This is a follow-up and successor to the original Evercade handheld, which ton of credit to Blaze Entertainment, who produces this handheld, the system. It was released in 2020 during COVID, right? So terrible time to release a new system. To their credit, they've pulled through. They have a really top-notch system, and they really hit a really nice niche market. I'll talk more about it in a second. But anyway, they also followed that up with the Evercade Versus, which is essentially the consoleized version of this, and all the games are compatible with all three different systems. So I'm gonna do an unboxing. I'm gonna show you, of course, some gameplay. I really think if you're a retro gamer, if you're a retro collector, this is a system you definitely should or need to check out, and I'll explain more why that is in my review. Let's take a closer look. Thanks, guys. Okay, let's do an unboxing and take a closer look at the Evercade EXP. You can see the box is really cool. It shows a picture of the console itself, cartridge. Does come with games. There's 18 built-in games, and it comes with a cartridge with 6 additional games, so IRAM. So total you have 24 games available at launch. But what's cool about the Evercade, which I think is awesome, is they're gearing towards the retro gamer, right? And those who are collectors who like to collect physical cartridges, right? So fan of the Switch, don't get me wrong, it's awesome. Switch has kind of cartridges, so to speak, but these are like real cartridges. And let's go and slide this open. Retro gaming leveled up. You can see they're definitely gearing towards retro gamers. So that's what I was saying before. If you're a fan of retro gaming, this is a console to put on your radar. This is a console to definitely check out, handheld. The Versus is awesome too, because the Versus is a consoleized version of this. All the games are interchangeable, as I mentioned before in the video. Here's a closer look at the handheld itself. It is the difference between this and the original Evercade. This is the XP. The color's a little bit different, right? The original Evercade had kind of white with a red kind of outline borders, you know. This is different because now you can play games vertically like this. There's a couple of extra buttons. The button layout is slightly different. This is a start and select. It's slightly different on the original Evercade. Battery life is better now too. This can now last up to 5 hours of gameplay on a charge. It has a USB-C charge. There is a head jack. No Bluetooth technology, unfortunately, right? So you can't hook up. There's no USB port, as well as you can't hook up an external controller. That's one downside about this. It does have a new mini HDMI, so you can hook it up to your TV if you have that cable and play it on your TV, which is nice. This is your power button. You have your 2 shoulder buttons here. Actually 4 shoulder buttons. You have your R1, R2, L1, L2 on the top. This is the cartridge, what they look like, right? I believe as of filming this, there are close to 40 different cartridges, ranging from consoles from the NES to Genesis to the Atari Lynx, arcade ports. I've seen Commodore 64 as well, even PlayStation 1. So essentially what this thing can do is it emulates the games. Most other carts I see are multi-carts, so there's multiple games on each cartridge. The retail value for the cartridges themselves range from anything from like $20 US to upwards to like $30 US, so really decently priced. This system itself retails for $150 US. I got this on Amazon on sale. I think I paid like $120 for it. So really, I think even at $150, it's a really decent price. Another difference between this and the original Evercade is the resolution on the screen. It's the same size screen. It's got a 4.3 inch screen, which is nice. Same as the original one, but the original one has a 480 by 272 resolution. This is 800 by 480 resolution. So definitely an improved resolution, which is nice. So other than the button layout, now most of these come in white. There is a limited edition black version of the XP available, and those I believe were limited to 5,000 units. So that's a kind of limited edition. I'm not quite sure how many of these have produced. What I like is the cartridges come in, it fits really snug, but they slide in like so. This is your speaker right here on the back, okay? It fits really comfortably. I have big hands myself, so I don't have any complaints about it not working. It's not touchscreen or anything like that. It doesn't really need to be, because these are playing retro games. You have your volume plus or minus here. You can level up or here, right? Or volume up, volume down. This is your indicator light, so when it's charging, it's green when it's ready, and it's red when it's charging, right? So you know when it's done. And this button here changes the screen format. So most games will play horizontal like this, right? But a few games like 1942, for example, you can actually play it like this, and that's how you change that format here. Initially, I thought this was a power button, turning on and off. power button's actually up here, right? Speaking of, let's go and, oh, before I turn it on, let's not jump the gun here. It does come with a USB-C cable, right? It does not come with a wall adapter. I guess they assume that if you have a phone, cell phone, most people own a USB wall adapter, right? So that does come with that. What I really like is they have these clamshell cases. Now it does come with an IRAM. In this case is Arcade 1. It comes with 6 games. The games are R-Type, Classic, In the Hunt, Moon Patrol, Lightning Swords, Battle Chopper, 10-Yard Fight. So those are all games I'm familiar with. And it kind of reminds me of like a miniature Genesis cartridge shell, right? And it has an instruction manual of each game and how to play. Now the other 18 games, the other Capcom games are actually built into the unit itself, but it does have an instruction manual for each of those games. These are Capcom games itself, right? And then it has instructions, very simple instructions for the handheld itself and how it works, right? So how to play it, charging, booting up, low battery will start flashing. This will start flashing red, okay? And really on the back of this, there's not much. It has a sleeve on the back of the sleeve. I'll show you here. It does kind of come with these 18 built-in games. And they have great licenses, so they've worked with Atari. What I really like about Blaze Entertainment, the company behind this, is they not only work with great licenses like Capcom and Atari and IRAM, for example, but they also reached out to homebrew games, like smaller indie companies. They've worked with Mega Cat Studios, which make great NES games and Genesis games, Super Nintendo, super stoked. They've worked with Pico Interactive and other companies as well. So, like I said, I think they have like close to 40 cartridges available. I think they hope to have up to 50 or more soon, add an additional 10 more games or continue to extend their library. They seem to do very well with this because I think they're hitting their mark. So let's go ahead and let's turn this on. And like I said earlier, I give a ton of credit to Blaze Entertainment because what they're basically doing is they've released this during COVID, the initial one, and they're successful. It's not easy releasing a new cartridge or a console, right? We've seen that with the Intellivision Amico and the hot mess that is, right? So they've done it. They're doing it right. They've got a great reputation, good pricing, and quality product, right? And I think they're hitting that market of the people who want physical cartridges, and that's awesome. So you can collect the cartridges. Okay, it will take a couple seconds for it to boot up. Once you hit it and hold it for a few seconds, light will turn green, and then to turn off, you just hold it again for a couple seconds. Here's the theme. I want to show you the settings first. So go to the side here, go to settings. A is to advance, B is to go back. Let's check out the theme. I'm right now up Evercade EXP theme, which is my favorite, but you have let's check out blue and gold, for example, and that's a nice looking one as well. You have dark, more of a black finish or background. Let's go back, I prefer this one. That's a good one right there. As well as, let's go to other settings. You have the sound settings, you can adjust the master controls, the volume, etc. Network, it does have built-in Wi-Fi. That's important for a couple of reasons. You can download any firmware updates. There is a monthly game that they release that you can play. I'll show you that in a few seconds as well. Languages, system, legal, credits, secret. What's secret? Secret code. I don't have any secret code, but that's interesting. Here's a cartridge itself. Right now I have the IRAM cart. They are individually numbered. This one is number 7. So again, for collectors, that's really nice to have, I think, in my opinion anyway. 10-Yard Fight, Battle Chopper, In the Hunt, Lightning Sword, as well as R-Type. Moon Patrol, we'll click on R-Type. Go ahead and play. Actually, it shows you information controls, as well as you scroll down, some stats, like when the game came out, how many minutes I played the game, all that good stuff, right? So we'll go play. There are save states too, which is really nice. So if you're playing a game, you can save it in the middle and come back to it. Right now it's set to horizontal or vertical, let's play horizontal. You have, now this is the arcade version, so I need to put credits in. By doing that, hit select. Go to menu first, go to display settings, A. Right now I am on original. Pixel Perfect shrinks it down quite a bit, kind of makes it more condensed. Let's take a look at it, see what it looks like. Yeah, it makes it really small. Let's go to display settings here. full screen, it stretches out. It's kind of the opposite. Doesn't look too bad. Let's add credits. The volume puts a lot. That's like max volume. There is no volume bar or anything like that. It shows you like kind of what's left, but it puts out quite a bit of sound. It sounds mono sound to me though. It doesn't sound stereo. To hold it. Nintendo was the one company that originally published this in the arcades in North America anyway. IRAM was the company that produced it, created it. All right, let's go back to settings, display settings. If you go to original, that's what I prefer. Scan lines makes it a little bit darker, so I'll show you a different game for scan lines because this is kind of a dark game in general. If I go to I can also save. And now if that's kind of helpful because now I can load and it kind of saved my spot, right? Which is also very helpful. It's basically emulation essentially. Let's go ahead and quit. Or it is emulation. Not basically it is. Here's the built-in games. Go to the collection here, Capcom Collection. 1942, 1943, 1944. I've been playing 1944 quite a bit lately. It's a lot of fun. I never played it before. It came out in 2000, or I think year 2000 actually. It's got Bionic Commando, Final Fight, which is fun. Let me show you 1943. Go ahead and play it. This one you actually can play horizontally like this, which is really cool, right? So I can hit the button on the bottom here and play like this, but I think it's much better when it's at this ratio right here, right? So go ahead and add credits, add volume. The D-pad feels very much like a Genesis / Mega Drive D-pad. Now I can hold down the fire and it shoots kind of slower. I can tap it. Let's go menu. Let's go to display settings. Subtle adds, kind of darkens a little bit, and then strong makes it even darker. I think honestly on the see, you can't really tell. The screen's so small you can't really see the scan lines. I think it would make a difference if you plug it in using HDMI or using an Evercade Versa system. I think the scan lines are more noticeable. So in my opinion, I think it's honestly best just to keep the scan lines off because it just makes it a little bit more bright. See the difference? I'm not quite sure if you can tell the difference on there, but let's check a different game. Go back. Final Fight is definitely a classic. Let's check out Final Fight. Oh, change it back. There you go. What other options here I have? Other display options. I have Evercade bezel, EXP bezel. Let's see what that looks like. Add some stuff in the border there. Or what else I have? Evercade original, wireframe, quite a few logo legends, box art. What's box art? Okay, has the different boxes and stuff. That's kind of cool. Let's check out wireframe. It's got wires. Interesting. We'll check out one more. Rachid Loft. Not quite sure what that is. It's interesting. Oh, it's a loft. Okay. That's kind of cool. Let's go back. Add some credits. This is the arcade port. Hagar is always the guy to play as, in my opinion. See what other options are. Controls. Oops, wrong button. Controls. Shows you the controls. You can't, I don't think you can map them. You can't. Not that you would really want to anyway. I can load. That's pretty much it as far as options go. If you're looking for a really fun port to Final Fight for the home port, the Sega CD version is probably my favorite. Final Fight CD, it's a lot of fun. The music's great. Classic beat 'em up. Okay, go quit. Really quick loads, games are really quick. Let's check out Mega Man 2. See how it emulates NES games. I've got the bezel. So when you save the settings in one game, it carries over to the next. So keep that in mind. Let's do display. I'll add strong screen lines. Very subtle, even the strong ones. Quick man. Oh, I remember this level. Now, it also hit X button, do like a super shot, kind of a, let me show you what I mean here. See, kind of double taps, kind of like the TurboGrafx 16 gamepad would do. I could also jump, like a short jump. So these are normal, and these buttons are like double, turbo. I guess it would be turbo button, right? Man, the soundtrack on these, oh gosh, I hate this. Oh my god. Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead. This is before, when did they have which Mega Man could you do like the super shot? We hold it? You can't do it on Mega Man 2 here. But let's go back, I'll show you one more game. Oh, Strider. Yeah, this is a classic. Again, I've got the scan lines on there as well. Let's turn the scan lines off. Show you how much brighter it is. It does make a difference. Really fun game, by the way. Sling, 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 sling. Okay, I could play it all day, honestly. Okay, let's quit. Go back. I want to show you some other features. This is Game of the Month I was talking about before. So through the Wi-Fi, you can download a Game of the Month. It's a free game. This right now is Dodo. I've never heard of it. It's an arcade game from, okay, designed in the style of arcade games. This is a platformer in one part. It features, okay, so these are pretty much indie games. Let's see. Yeah, they're new games. Came out recently, but it's a new game, kind of indie game designed in the style of classics, right? Dodo. So let's check it out. So Evercade is a big supporter, as I mentioned before, on indie scene. They've released several carts with multiple games for indie games. I love the fact they're releasing these monthly games for free. I think that's really cool. So this is Dodo. So it kind of reminds me, I played a little bit of this before. Wow, the music is really loud. Really puts up. You're supposed to collect these donuts. It's like Popeye for NES, or for the by Nintendo for the arcade. There's no attack. You can jump. You're supposed to collect all the donuts and avoid the Dodo top, right? So it's kind of like the original Mario Brothers and Popeye. Avoiding these enemies. The crane. I don't have any attack. Dang, I'm terrible with it. I gotta jump over that. You can't jump. I'm terrible. And you guys get the idea, but really fun. Again, I love the fact that Evercade is really supporting the indie games. I think that's really cool of them to do that. Let's quit. Hidden games as well. I'm not quite sure how you unlock those, but there's like 5 hidden games. I gotta do some more research on what those are. If you guys know, let me know. But overall, really impressed by this. I mean, again, if you're a collector, I think this is definitely a system to check out. I didn't mention the retail. So normally this retails for 150 US dollars. I got on Amazon for sale for 120. So the screen seems really small, to be honest with you, compared to a Switch. The quality of the screen is not great compared to the Switch. But I think for the price, for $150, right, even at full price, comes with 24 games. There's over 40, going to be over 40 games, separate cartridges you can purchase. This is definitely a handheld to check out. I'm really excited for it, for what's to come with this thing, and I think it's got a pretty decent following as well. Some things, you know, it's got a headphone jack, but there's no Bluetooth. Mentioned that before, but you can't really hook up any external controllers, so that's kind of let down. Hopefully they have a model that you can do that, so you can play two-player on some of these games. Unless you have an Evercade Versus, which comes with two controllers, you can't play two-player games with this because there's no ability to add any additional controllers. I think overall, speaking of controllers, the D-pad feels pretty good. It's like very similar to a Genesis Mega Drive / Genesis D-pad. The buttons are slightly smaller than the original Evercade. I've noticed that as well, but they're very responsive, and overall, I'm very impressed by this handheld. When you're powered off, make sure you hold it down and power it off. The battery life, they say 5 hours. I'll be honest, I've been playing this for quite a while. I've had it for some time. The battery life does burn through fairly quick, just FYI. So I think you can get up to 5 hours, but really you're looking at more to closer to 3 hours from my personal experience. Maybe that's just my particular handheld. That's kind of what I'm experiencing with this particular thing. Nonetheless, you can recharge it. It's lithium battery. Very cool handheld. Very impressed. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for subscribing. We'll see you guys soon. Take care. And of course, game on.